Peace, you guys. This is Nas. Crystal. Some of you know me by Crystal, or some know me by Nas, the goddess. Yeah, some may know that I'm right now and currently doing certifications for to become, a certified birth doula. If you don't know what a doula is, a doula is really honestly not new, although it's something that's making a resurgence currently in Western culture in the United States. It's actually something that's actually pretty ancient, pretty traditional as far as birth is concerned for women. In ancient civilizations, you would almost, even as far back as, Egyptian culture, where you would have carvings, you would always see when they showed a woman giving birth, there was almost always two women beside her. One of them would be what is modernly called a midwife. And this person was the person who was more in charge of that woman's medical care and safety for her and the baby, medically and physically. And then there would always be another woman who would be what we call a doula. And she was there for the mental and spiritual as well as physical comfort for the woman. And so these two always went hand in hand. And this was always pretty much the tradition in women giving birth. Even when they stopped calling them doulas or they didn't have the official name of a midwife, this was always pretty much how it went. Up until the point that women started giving birth in hospitals and it became more medical and more technical, which has, improved to some degree. Birth, the medical technical model, there have been some advantages to that. And I would say not to birth itself, but more so if there's a medical emergency during birth, that's really when the medical technical standard, I feel like, is really useful. But if a woman is not high risk and she's healthy and the baby is healthy, to let the labor progress naturally is always going to be best. So anyway, so a birth doula's job is to be there for the woman emotionally and spiritually, and to also help comfort her physically in the way of massage or positioning, showing her different positions that she can get in, and to also assist her birth partner, whether that be her husband or significant other, whoever that birth partner is there, if she has one already. The doula does not take the place of that person. The doula is there to assist that family and that couple in any way they can, because a lot of times birth can be a long process. And, the birth partner is not necessarily used to being in that birth environment the way a birth doula is. And so the birth doula has much more endurance, much more experience, and usually a lot more pain management tools in their bag in order to assist the woman, as well as they're able to be much more objective because they don't have, an intimate relationship with this woman outside of, being her birth doula. So they are able to be objective, as well as birth doula's job is to also give that woman and that couple or that family, as much information as possible in order for them to make a wise decision, because sometimes a family is inundated by a lot of medical terminologies if they're giving birth in a hospital, and they're kind of thrown things in the middle of a very intense process and they may not be familiar with it. And so a birth doula's job is not to choose for you or to choose for that woman or for the family or the couple, but she is there to let you know what those terms mean or what those choices mean, what the pros and the cons can be to either of those decisions. But it's always up to that woman, that family, that couple to make that final decision. And you might wonder, well, what's the point of a birth doula if you have family there or a birth partner? Well, it's actually been, statistically proven, even, in Harvard medical schools, they're actually supporting doulas more and more now, because they have done study after study, and it shows that when women have a birth doula near, that not only are the labors shortened from anywhere from 3 to 4 hours shorter, but the cesarean rate goes down by something like 58 to 60%. As well as the woman has a tendency to usually not tear because she stays a lot more calm. And it's just usually an overall better birthing experience, a much more happy experience and memory for that woman, for the child, for the couple, the family, everyone included. So, birth doulas are very, very necessary, because a big part to having a good birth is to actually keep a calm environment. And that's what a birth doula is really great at. A good birth doula knows how to, as much as possible, keep the atmosphere and the energy of where that woman is giving birth, whether it's a home birth, whether it's a natural birth, whether it's a natural home birth or in a birthing center, or whether it's a cesarean in a hospital, or whether it's a natural birth in a hospital. A doula's job is there to see to it that that woman or that couple and that family, that they have the birth that she desires as much as possible. And that is usually able to be obtained by having a calm birthing environment. So, birth doulas are extremely, extremely important. And I'm really happy that people are understanding that more and more, and that it is making a resurgence in our culture again in the United States. So, in this journal, I just kind of wanted to let everybody know that I'm going to start documenting more of my doula journey with everyone, so that you guys can kind of see firsthand what's going on. Thus far, those who know me already know, but those who don't will know that, I am a mother. I'm a mother of 7, and out of 6 of my 7 children were all natural births. And then out of that 6, 4 of them were all natural and assisted home births, as well as I've helped friends deliver in home births as well, which were incredible experiences. And birth is just a process that has always come very natural to me. I've always been able to, really remain very calm and know how to keep myself very centered, as well as I've been very good at preparing myself for birth. Because sometimes when people hear that, oh, you had unassisted home births, their first question is, oh, what about the pain? And I just always kind of laugh, and I tell people that, birth is something that women have been doing for thousands and thousands of years, long before hospitals came about. And it's really just like with any other really important event in your life, preparation is key, which is another way that a birth doula comes in hand. Is that a birth doula is someone that you want to connect with even before you give birth. If you don't decide to have one until you're actually in labor, and it starts progressing, and you kind of, get in that mode of, wait, I think I want a doula. There are plenty of doulas who will come on call for you that way. I'm one of those. I'm definitely willing to come to any woman who feels initially, oh no, I think I'm good. I have my partner, or it's just me, or whatever. But, once the actual birth starts happening, if she feels like she needs that wisdom and that strength and just that support of that birth doula there, I'm more than willing to come to her side, even if I haven't had, prenatal visits with her and haven't been working with her before the birth. But it is much more ideal if you connect with your doula earlier on in your birth and have prenatal visits with her, go over your birth plan with her, so that she kind of is familiar with your birth plan, sort of what you're desiring, what your partner wants, kind of the vision that you have. And, every birth will always have some surprises in it, just like life. You have a plan, but then other things happen. My birth plans always kind of happen pretty much close to what I envisioned. But I think that's because I spent a lot of time visualizing, what I wanted for each one of my births. And like I said, preparation is key. When I say, oh, I have my babies natural or at home, it wasn't like something I decided to do that day. Like, oh, okay, yeah, let's just go ahead and do this. These were things that I prepared for. This is months of meditation, months of, I did yoga throughout my pregnancies. eating vegan and vegetarian, drinking plenty of alkaline water, green juices, smoothies, making sure I was getting lots of exercise, lots of stretching, lots of specific stretches for the hip area and the thighs, because, the legs will can get very weak and tired during labor. So, lots of squats, lots of exercises, and lots of mental visualizations and preparations, because the mental preparation for birth is more important than anything. Even if you're planning on having, a C-section, you still want to be as mentally and physically prepared for that birth as possible. Because even if you're having a scheduled C-section, you still want to be in touch with a doula, because you still want to be prepared. You still want to be eating well. You still want to be exercising. You still want to do your yoga. You still want to eat right so that you will recover. Your recovery time will most likely be quicker if you're preparing your body and you're preparing your mind for that procedure. So, sometimes people think that a doula is, sort of just this hippie sort of thing, and it's only for, granola people, as they like to call it, having babies at home or in water births. But a doula is for every woman. Let me repeat that. A doula is for every woman giving birth. It doesn't matter your age. It doesn't matter your race. It doesn't matter your cultural beliefs. It doesn't matter your religion. A doula is there for the woman. And although I loved natural birth and I love a home setting, or for all my births, that I had, at home, I love that setting in comparison to the hospital births. I preferred, home births at this point in my life. That's what I, felt the most calm and being in my own environment. And, that's what I prefer. But my personal choice does not interfere with what I'm able to do for another woman. Her decision and her environment where she chooses to have her baby, it's her choice. And I fully support that. And that is what my job is as a birth doula, is to support your birth plan and to just be there for the woman. And that's one of the things I love about being a birth doula, is because it's about women supporting other women. It's not about judgment. It's not about putting my beliefs on you, whether they're spiritual, cultural, political, none of that. It's setting all of those things aside, and for that day, that moment, for that experience, for the experience of you bringing this life into the world, is to be there to support you as another woman. And, it just, study after study shows how much more calm women remain when they have just knowing that that doula is there, because that doula is there to give continuous support. A doula is there from the moment, if you say, if you have it worked out between you and your doula that, you would like your doula to come even before you check in the hospital. If you want your doula to meet you and your spouse, or you and your family, or whatever, at home before you even go to the hospital, if you decide to labor some at home and not to go to the hospital until later on, or if you're doing a home birth and you want your doula there from the first contraction that you feel, if that's what you and your doula have agreed to, that's what that doula is going to do. You can never call a doula too soon. You can really never call a doula too late. It's all about you as the mother, as the woman, and what is going to make you, be in your most calm state, so that your body can be calm. And calm is so, so important, because the calmer you are as a woman, the calmer and the more relaxed your body is going to be. And when your body is relaxed and calm, then that birth is able to just take place, because you have to keep remembering, as much propaganda is out on the TVs, your body knows what it's doing. Birth is a natural function of the body, and it has a very natural way that it takes place. And it's actually when you begin to interfere with that process that you kind of take it off of its course, because birth and labor has its own very natural course that it's going to take. And when you start to kind of mess with it, it's like taking a train off the tracks. That's when things get a little crazy. So, it's best to, just kind of stay with that. I have to call that person back. So yeah, I just wanted to say, I wanted to just keep track and, like, really take you guys on this journey of just becoming certified. And why did I choose to become certified? Because there is no law that requires you to be certified as a birth doula. Because again, we don't do anything medically. That's for the nurse midwives and or for the obstetrician or whoever is doing that woman's birth, or if she's having it at home unassisted, that's still not that birth doula's responsibility. We're there to assist you emotionally and help you with comfort techniques and to help you, stay calm and centered, and, to also give relief to your spouse or your family members, and to be there to support you as a woman. So, but the reason why I've chosen to, also become a certified birth doula is because I feel that birth doulas are very much needed right now, in hospital births, in birthing centers. Doulas need to come back into that environment, and lots of hospitals as well think so. Even here in Oklahoma, in Tulsa, for example, St. John's Hospital in Tulsa, they actually, for the birth doula training workshops, they are fraying costs. They're actually paying for a lot of the doulas prerequisite classes because they want to see more practicing doulas, because also having a birth doula there, the woman staying calmer, this is less medical intervention that happens. And so that also is better for the hospital because they're having less, emergencies during labor. That's less C-sections they have to do, which also means there's less chances of them being sued down the road. And, it's just the woman recovers quicker than she would without a birth doula. So, and I think that something that is interesting that's happening right now too is that I'm starting to see that, there's kind of a emergence taking place between the doulas and midwives in the hospital, which I feel like is important, and that has to happen because there was kind of this divide of like, natural birthers and like hospital births. But I don't feel like it has to be separate. Those all can work together. And, I feel like it's very important for a woman to have those doulas there. And a lot of the times the hospitals and birth centers and just, people in general, they're just going to feel more comfortable if they see that certification next to your name as a birth doula, no matter how much natural experience you have and how intuitive you are, which plays a big part of it because you can have certifications as well as a birth doula. But if you don't have that natural feminine intuition, kind of a connectedness of spirit and just kind of a womanly wisdom, if you're not very tuned into that, you can only be but so helpful to that mother and to that baby and that family. So, that's always going to be still the most important. But I feel like having the certification, like I said, makes a lot of people feel comfortable. And so that means that you're able to be in more arenas of birth. And that's my purpose. It's not to for my own personal philosophies, is to be here for more women and to see more women have healthier births, more calm births, more births without fear, and to deliver more healthy babies and to have, more memorable, happy birth experiences and not these horrific, overly medicalized, fearful births. And in order to do that, if I need certification so that I'm able to be in more places and so that I can assist more women, then, that's what I'm willing to do. So, although, I feel like it will be, it already has been an interesting process, coming from, more of a midwifery mindset of things, meaning a midwifery mindset is more just, allowing birth to take place more naturally, whereas a technomedical method is, more medical interventions, whether they're necessary or not. So, yeah. So I look forward to checking in with you guys as much as possible and taking you on this journey with me. Um, I love being a mother. I love giving birth. Birth was always a great experience for me. I enjoyed my births. I've always felt stronger, wiser, healthier, and more beautiful after all of my births. So, birth is a very incredible time for a woman. And yeah, I love being a part of that. So hopefully you guys will enjoy, going with me on this journey. So I'm going to stop this one and I'm going to do another one in a little bit to kind of tell you guys about some stuff that took place tonight. All right, bye.